It's Movember is over.
Hey,
you got to bring the whole beard back, because I mean, unless you're going to go and be a cop, you're going to go and be a cop because you got a great cop mustache. You're going to go and work with Barney Miller and Fish? Because, I'm just saying.
Hey, I'm going to have my Gotham badge in here tomorrow, and you are so going you are so going into the back of the car.
Gotham Central. Yes, Sergeant Troy David.
Well, I also have Starling City Metro Police.
Nice.
Yeah. See,
nice.
I got a badge.
You got to be fast to be a cop there. I understand. Well. Got to be quick. Got to be quick. Yeah.
But not as fast as in Central City.
No.
Because then there, man, if you're not moving at least the speed of sound, you are so yesterday's news.
You're just a hamburger. So, hello again, and welcome to the Comics Online podcast, Season 16, Episode 10. I'm your host, Kevin Gaussoin, but really, this is Season 16, Episode 10.1, and it's Troy's show. Here we have Troy David Phillips. Big, do your own clapping. Ready, go.
At some point,
wait for them to stop clapping.
Thank you. Please put the lighters out back there.
All right.
Yeah. At some point, I would like to have a heavy metal band. That would
I'm into
be pretty awesome.
I'm into it. Let's do that.
Yeah. Let's get like a heavy metal hip hop fusion going on.
Okay.
Yeah. Like if I could have Aerosmith and Run DMC, that would be great.
I like that. You could tell them how to walk this way?
Yeah.
All right.
Talk this way. Speaking of talking this way, let's talk about our top 5.
Top 5 comics.
Top 5 comics, ladies and gentlemen. If you have been keeping up
for Wednesday.
Well, for Wednesday, December the 2nd, 2015. Now, we've been a little remiss in doing the show, so you may have missed out when I actually had on the shelf things like All New, All Different Avengers #1, Nova #1, Silk #1, Spider-Gwen #1, and Spider-Man 2099, New Avengers, Uncanny Inhumans, Extraordinary X-Men. There have been a lot of Marvel #1s is what I'm trying to say.
And most of which Troy has still got for you. So he ordered thinking about, maybe you didn't quite make it in. Maybe you were busy with holiday shopping or something. Well, now's the time to come in.
Yeah. So, like, for example, you might have missed this. Guardians of the Galaxy #1. Now, this is actually from a few weeks back. There is a second issue of this book that has already come out. Brian Michael Bendis at the writing helm on this. You'll notice that Ben Grimm is on the team, and Agent Venom Space Knight is on the team, and Kitty Pryde is on the team. Peter Quill is still in the book. He may not be on the team, but he is still in the book. Also, I got to mention Star-Lord #1. If you're wondering what is Star-Lord about, it's a prequel to Guardians of the Galaxy. It's younger Peter Quill before he's off Earth when he's in the Guardians of the Galaxy. Come check that out. If your exposure to Peter Quill was the movie, this will give you further additional story. And it's a little bit different from what's in the movie, but it's good nevertheless.
Is it any different from what we've seen in older Star-Lord appearances?
Well, yes, but only so much as some of those stories themselves have been softly rebooted 2 times in the history of Star-Lord.
Right.
The Star-Lord that we had way back when it was Bill Mantlo is a little bit different from the Chris Claremont, John Byrne Star-Lord, and that is very different from the Peter Jason Quill that we have today.
Okay.
Comic trivia for you, Kevin.
Yes, sir.
Before we had Jason Peter Quill, Star-Lord, did you know that we had another Jason Peter in comics?
No.
And that Jason Peter is actually Jason Peter Garrick. That is Jay Garrick's full name, the Flash of the 1940s.
Well, I didn't realize that was his middle name. Amazing.
And now you do.
Yeah. So there you go. There's your Troy trivia for the day. So we'll what are your top 5? You want me to hold these up for you?
If you would, please. I'm going to kick you right off into the DC universe. This is the first issue of the Robin War, issue #1. Please notice on the cover, you are seeing one of the Owls masks from the Court of the Owls. If you're familiar with the current Batman mythology, you know all about the Court of the Owls and what they represent for Gotham City and the challenge they represent for Batman. And if not, Well, I'd recommend picking up Volume 1 of the Scott Snyder, Greg Capullo, Batman, Court of the Owls.
Here's a little spoiler. We've got somebody new on the team, apparently, because somebody's jumping off a bridge saying, "I am Robin."
We have, of course, had two...
Troy, do the black joke.
Oh, I am not doing that joke.
Come on. Say who are you, Robin? Come on.
Ladies and gentlemen, poor Kevin has gone crazy here. There have been two Robin series all along up to this point. There is We Are Robin, and there is Robin, Son of Batman. Also, currently, there is the Batman and Robin Eternal Weekly series from DC. So, hey, we're just not getting enough Robin. The Robin War is up and running. This is going to be a limited series from DC. If I remember correctly, it's 2 issues.
Yeah.
So look for this. It's a cornucopia of talent on the book.
Nice. So next you've got...
Next, I have got Action Comics, the premier DC book with Superman, the premier DC character. Yeah, I know, Detective Comics is why we call it DC Comics, but Superman, I'm all about some Superman, ladies and gentlemen. So, since... Well, even last year, even before Convergence, we have had Superman, his power levels have dipped. He's wearing the shirt. His identity has been blown. So the whole world knows that Clark Kent is Superman. And this has caused him some problems, some very uncomfortable situations. We have seen Superman currently battling a mind-controlling opponent, mind-controlling, emotion-controlling. And Superman is grappling with his emotional state, his rage. If you haven't been following Superman, you've been missing a lot of really good stuff.
So she's called the Wrath, and
yes.
I saw there's also a Frankenstein's monster in this issue.
Frankenstein from the Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. series.
Nice.
Now, I mention Action Comics also because it is written by one of my favorite writers, Greg Pak. Greg Pak also was the writer on Magneto Testament and Red Skull Incarnate and Incredible Hercules and Planet Hulk and World War Hulk.
Yeah.
Yes. So that brings me up to my Marvel pick, which is Totally Awesome Hulk #1. Okay. I thought they were going to keep this a secret, but they released the spoiler. The Totally Awesome Hulk's identity is Amadeus Cho. Yes, Amadeus Cho, who was briefly the sidekick partner to the Hulk and later to Hercules.
He's the world's fourth smartest person?
Well, it moves up and down there. Sometimes it's 4th, sometimes it's 11th. But considering some of the geniuses that he's up against, he's keeping some pretty good company no matter what.
Don't worry, Troy. This page is censored.
Okay, so Greg Pak writing and Frank Cho doing the artwork, ladies and gentlemen. Totally Awesome Hulk. Kevin showing you a little bit of the interior. This is something you're going to want to pick up. Hulk fans, look at how awesome this Hulk looks. That is, thank you for the defunct Comic Code appearance there. It is, actually, it is.
Well, that's a thing about the Hulk. Part of the joke of the purple pants is, how do they stay on? Because he gets so much huger. Well, apparently Amadeus Cho neglected, one of the world's smartest men, neglected to remember to get some sort of unstable molecules happening in his underpants before transforming into the Hulk, and he lost his pants, and that's clever. It's funny.
Hey, even a smart guy can forget something now and again. Should have checked my math. I'm off a decimal point. And that's why the Fantastic Four have powers, and that's why Dr. Doom got a scar on his face.
There you go.
Moving along here is another one of my very favorite books from Marvel. This is The Vision #2.
No, I didn't read the first one. Tell me how it's set up.
Okay, so in the first issue, we are introduced to the Visions, who are now living in Virginia. And the Vision is working downtown in Washington, D.C. The book is so... It's written from the viewpoint of somebody who very much understands living in Northern Virginia, living in Arlington, living in Cherrydale, Arlington, and understands the commute into D.C. and understands what goes on in the neighborhood, what people talk about. That person understands the reality, and I appreciate it because I live in Northern Virginia. I don't live in New York. The robotic family, the synthezoid family. The Vision has a synthezoid wife, and they have 2 synthezoid children that go to school with other teenagers. This book is predicated in that kind of suburban charm but it takes a turn at the end of the first issue and leaves you going, what? Wait, what? Where is this going? What just happened here? So now we're up to the second issue. I still have copies of the first. I would strenuously recommend picking that up.
So Troy, where would you place when it comes to what was it, 18? What was it called? 18 something.
72.
1872. When it came to the Secret Wars spin-off comics, where would you place 1872? How did you enjoy that?
Oh, I enjoyed it very much. I very much enjoyed the Wild West interpretations of Steve Rogers, Tony Stark, Bruce Banner, the depiction of small town corruption with the Kingpin as a robber baron type. Yeah. I love Western stories like that. It's one of the reasons I like Copperhead so much.
Oh, there you go.
1872, continuing after a fashion,
sort of.
At the end, the projected end of Secret Wars. This is Red Wolf. If you're like me, you're a fan of the old Will Talltree's Red Wolf, the character who appeared in the Avengers, issue number 80 in their volume 1. Will Talltree's had an ancestor who was Red Wolf in the time of the Wild West. That was that Red Wolf series that appeared in the 1970s. You probably have a complete collection. I know I do.
Certainly. Not really, but it sounds good.
Yeah, it sounds very good. So here we are. Red Wolf is getting a book. You've got this incredibly awesome American Indian character, and spinning again out of 1872. I started to say 1602, and that's not correct. Yeah, so that is my number one most anticipated out of my top 5 this week.
This ought to be good. I don't recognize the Nathan Edmondson. I recognize.
Yeah, Nathan Edmondson. You remember him from The Punisher, from Deathlock, from Black Widow. Yeah, that Nathan Edmondson.
Dalibor Talajic. The penciler, and Jose Marzan as the inker, I recall, but this Talajic I don't recall. But this has maybe it's just the genre, but it kind of reminds me of Brian Hurt doing the Six Gun. If you look at just these couple of pages,
a little bit actually. Now that you mention it,
a little bit like that.
I wouldn't have thought of it right off the top, but. All right, so those are my top 5s, ladies and gentlemen. Once again, to recap, Robin War, number 1, Action Comics, number 47, Totally Awesome Hulk, number 1, The Vision, number 2, and Red Wolf, number 1.
So, I'm going to start out with a couple of X-books here.
Bam!
Totally all new, all different, all exclamational X-Men. Which one is this, Troy? Just tell me which.
Extraordinary.
Oh, that's the one. Extraordinary X-Men. No, Extraordinary X-Men is this one. I'm talking all new X-Men.
I'm sorry, I grabbed the wrong one.
Yeah, this is all new X-Men number 1, and the creative team here, where we've got Marc Bagley, obviously, but who else have we got here? Dennis Hopeless. There you go. Tell me what's supposed to be going on here. Obviously, we've got the X-23 version of Wolverine. We've got a version of Cyclops, a version of Angel, a version of Iceman and Beast. I don't recall. I don't recognize the woman or the robot.
Well, what you've got to remember here, Kevin, is that All New X-Men continues the drama of having the teenaged X-Men brought out of their time period, from the past into the present by the Beast, and these are those characters that sustain. We've seen Jean Grey actually in the pages of Extraordinary X-Men. The team is broken up a little bit.
Yeah.
They've moved around to some of the other books. And like, for example, your next pick.
Extraordinary X-Men number 3 now. It's already on number 3. Come into Flashback and get your number 1 and 2, because I think Troy still got them. You still got them?
Yeah, but probably not for much longer, because people are lining up around the block and taking this stuff as fast as I can throw it on the shelf. So again, the X-Men titles, you have some interrelativity because the characters are moving from one team to another. We've got Teenage Jean Grey and Old Man Logan, ladies and gentlemen, because you just can't have enough Wolverine in the Marvel Universe, apparently. So X-23 is the all-new Wolverine, also in her own book. Yeah. And here we have Old Man Logan, who is slated to get his own book as well.
I'm looking forward to this not only because of those two things, but from the creative team. You've got Jeff Lemire and Humberto Ramos. and you can't lose with either of them.
Nope. Jeff Lemire, incidentally, on all new Hawkeye, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh, right. There you go.
That's a thing.
Hey, you know who else is good? Mark Waid.
Yeah.
All new, all different Avengers. Number 2 is already out. Time flies with all the new Marvel stuff, and so far I've been enjoying almost all of it. There have been some things where I'm like, oh, I wanted that to be better, but generally speaking, you're gonna probably want to do what I've done and get practically all of the number 1s at the very least. And this version we've got Captain Marvel, Ms. Marvel. What is she? Ms. Marvel.
Ms. Marvel, Kamala Khan, and the Vision, and the lady version of Thor, who is in fact Jane Foster, and Sam Wilson, Captain America, Iron Man, Miles Morales as Spider-Man. This is truly
a fun group.
An all-new, all-different Avengers. This is definitely an Avengers for a latter generation. If you have come to like those younger characters in their previous series, here they are all together.
And as you just saw, you've got Adam Kubert doing the art, and any of the Kubert's family, you're gonna love it.
Yeah.
Hey, you know who else we love? Brian Michael Bendis, because a lot of things. Ultimate Anything and Alias, frankly. Those are the things that I like by him the very best. Here's another thing. We've got Invincible Iron Man, number 4 already. Iron Man and Amazing Spider-Man were the first 2 things off the blocks, and they continue to be the highest numbers in the new Marvel numbering, aside from S.H.I.E.L.D., which said, forget it, we're just going to keep numbering. We're fine, we're just going to go. We're just going to go with it. Anyway, and this issue, apparently Mary Jane's going to go start working for Stark Industries, which is interesting.
Yeah, but why not? I mean, everybody needs a job, right? And Stark Enterprises, Stark Industries, Stark International, Stark Resilience, Stark Solutions, whatever Tony Stark's company is, I imagine it's just as easy for this man to walk into a bank and get a loan, say, hey, I'm starting up a new company. Now, I know I just lost my fortune and I don't have a dime to my name, but I'm Tony Stark and I'm going to throw down some technology. Oh, yeah, give this man a $100 million loan.
Right, that's pretty much what's going to happen.
I guess it's pretty much that easy.
Yeah, and my thing is, okay, what is Mary Jane going to do this? Not that Mary Jane isn't a smart person and used to being around superheroes, which obviously she has been, but she's an actress, so is she going to be their PR person? I don't know.
Well, I'm just actually excited that Mary Jane will get to be a support character for someone other than Spider-Man.
Well, yeah, especially being as though she was ceremoniously ditched from Amazing Spider-Man a few years back. That I'm still not over that. I don't think I'll ever be over that.
Kevin,
I just don't like it. Don't like it.
Kevin,
what?
It's a brand new day.
Gonna start singing a Buffy song. Anyway,
all right.
Let's see.
We are at the top of the heap now.
Buffy season 5. Never mind. Harley's Little Black Book number 1. I don't know what's going on with Harley's Little Black Book. Frankly, I'm just getting this for Kate. Kate won't be on this episode. I'm sorry. She'll be back. She gave me a pinky promise that she's gonna be back next week. And Mike is just giggling over there. To him, a pinky promise means something weird. It doesn't mean that, Mike. All right. Anyway, Harley's Little Black Book, obviously featuring Wonder Woman.
Yes.
And it's Jimmy Palmiotti, Amanda Connor, John Timms. I don't know who that is. Anyway, we've got various artists, but this is a pretty thick book. More than one story. Like it. Anyway, come check that out. It's a Harley Quinn book with Palmiotti and Connor, so you're going to win. You're going to like it.
Yes, indeed.
My plus one this week is spinning right off of that. And Troy, you're going to have to tell me what the heck this is, because I'm a little bit worried, and my interest is piqued. Piqued spelled wrong, because what? Why is it in a black cover, Troy? Harley's Little Black Book, Green Lantern, and she's got her face is doing a thing.
Yeah. She is.
Is this cover R-rated or something?
That I don't know. I will crack one open and I will see what I will see.
I'm bringing that home to Kate, so she'll tell me whenever.
Yes. So yeah. You crack that open and see what the mystery is within.
So Troy, this is our top 5 for this week.
Yep.
Do you have anything that we need to tell our viewership that, okay, here are all these new comics coming up, particularly, I'm talking about particularly Marvel, but really anything. Is there anything that, somebody needs to jump on this quick because it's new or it's wonderful or it's re-released?
From the Star Wars series, this is not a re-release, this is a current release. It's out right now, it's happening right now. The Star Wars series Vader Down. The Darth Vader Star Wars main title crossover. Now, all along, Star Wars, for its previous 12 issues, and Darth Vader, for its previous 12 issues, have run concurrently, but without direct crossovers. So you could read one without having to read the other, and you'd understand what was happening. Vader Down introduces the crossover between the two books. Vader Down is part 1, Darth Vader 13 is part 2, Star Wars 13 will be part 3, and Star Wars 13 is out this week. So, if you are a big Star Wars fan and you're looking for even more Star Wars to get into before the movie comes out, I strenuously recommend the Vader Down series.
If you are, even a slight Star Wars fan, jump in and check out some of these Star Wars comics. They're excellent. They have excellent creative teams taking care of those. And particularly, by the way, if you're like, well, I'm not sure if I want to read this Vader Down crossover.
Yeah, you do.
Let me just spoil it for you. In the end, there's a Grand Moff that gets him some Xanax, and he feels all fine again. He's all peppy, just force choking the hell out of anybody.
Oh.
You know how he does.
This guy.
I feel so happy now. That's what he does. It's right at the end. It's the last scene.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, I have to take Kevin off to the side here so I could force choke him. But that's our top 5.
That's our top 5.
That's our top 5.
We'll see you next week.
Yes, indeed. Stay tuned for part 2.
From leaping tall buildings to going off like gamma bombs. Switch your internet browser to ComicsOnline.com.